see if I can cut one-handed.
Give me about like watching Jason.
Like watching what?
All of them look alive. There 15 birds in there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm sure there is. 15.
None of them dead?
15. 15, yep.
All of them alive.
All of them alive, yep. So we got black astrolopes, guys. We got them from Hoover Hatchery.
Probably about 10 of them roosters.
No, because I ordered 10 hens and 5 straight run. Because with Hoover, you have to order 5 of the breed and sex. So what do we have here? Well, we have 15 baby chicks. They are black astrolopes. They are supposed to be one of the best heavy breed dual purpose chickens out there. When I was doing my research on heritage breeds, not production breeds now, not the hybrids and stuff like that. I'm talking about the ones that I can hatch accurate, true to the standard breeds. This is one of the top layers of a meat bird plus egg layer. So why do I want it to be a meat bird plus egg layer? Well, in order to keep your line going without having to order more in from somewhere else, you gotta have a plan for all those roosters you hatch. White leghorns, brown leghorns, all the leghorns, they are excellent layers, but they are the scrawniest chicken out there. These are a dual purpose. These are a very docile, friendly bird that is very good with a coop situation. They are not aggressive, and so I believe that the black astrolape is one of the top homesteading breeds out there. Now, again, this is one of the ones that I can hatch the eggs and still get black astrolopes, not a mixed chicken, okay? So keep that in mind. 15 of them. We shall see how many are roosters and how many are hens. Supposed to be 10 hens and 5 unknown. So we will see. All right, stay tuned. Hey guys, so it's time for a garden update, and the garden's not pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that. So let's go ahead and update it, and then I'm going to actually finally put up the fourth panel that I have not gotten up still. And I'm gonna show y'all how we do it, or how I do it, okay? So let me turn the camera around and tell you about the garden. So, the tomatoes are growing. They are beyond needing to be put up. They're doing good. The bell peppers are slowly getting there. Let me get you over here to the bell peppers. Got a whole row of them. Now, the downside of bell peppers and black plastic, this right here. This got up underneath here, and I didn't catch it in time, but it's putting out new growth. So it'll recover, and it'll be all right. But as you can see, here's another one that's happened to. So just if you choose to do this method, either make sure you stake that stuff down around the plants, or make sure you're watching, because I didn't watch it for a whole week. It was up under there and that tip died. Now, what's going on with the rest of this? That's all I got. So we have some cucumbers. No, squash. I have squash. A few, very few coming up finally. There's the second one, a third one, and a fourth one down at the end. So guess what? We get to replant squash because it didn't do well. It did not come up. Not normal for us. It normally sprouts very well. But let me say this about the beans as well. You'll notice we have the same problem here with the beans. The beans, there's a bean, and then no beans, Just lots of grass that I'm going to pull up out of these holes, which I'm going to try and get all that done today. And then I got a couple beans down here. So nothing really sprouted well up here. Not sure why. Now it is about to get sunny in here. This gets the evening sun instead of the morning sun, but that's not ever been a problem before. Who knows, it may be a problem this year. But I really think what the problem is those cool nights that we're still having. It was like 58 still a couple nights ago. In June, guys, 58 at night here in the South. That is not normal. But we're liking it because we don't have air in the house. We have little window units in the bedroom where we sleep. And that's it. So, all right. So that's how the garden is faring. The garden is not faring well. But we're going to keep trying, you know, because that's what we do, right? All right. Now, let me put up this panel and show y'all how it's done. Hold on. And there you have it. One more panel put up. The hardest part is because it's so long, you kind of have to get exactly in the center to hold it level to keep one end or the other from dipping and dragging. That's what I was struggling with at the beginning, but all of it is now zip tied. Now that has a plastic mesh on it that I will be removing because we do use these as chicken panels to keep chicks in as well sometimes. So that's why there's plastic mesh on it. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take and put the strings on to get the tomatoes up to the trellis. Also, that part down there in the middle where there is nothing, there's tomatoes in the middle that still need a trellis system. So we have some bamboo cane that we will be putting up there to use as a trellis system also. So bear with us. And that's our tomato trellis. So yeah, the middle section there, we just put bamboo up to fill in the gap basically, because I don't have a shorter than 16-foot piece of cattle panel. So let me go get some hay string and we'll tie up the tomatoes and prune them. All right, we're gonna try to get this to where you can see what I'm doing, which may be a little on the impossible side, but I don't know. So every tomato has a main branch, and then it has sprouts that come off. Well, I prune off the bottom ones. Pretty much anything that will touch the ground gets pruned off. And that's all I prune, guys. The next thing I do is I use this product. It's a hay string, and it is this right here. This biodegrades. I know that I showed you some hanging from the previous year's stuff, but it will not hold. It will break. So I'm going to cut myself a couple of long pieces so I can show you what I do. Give me just a second. These were not meant to cut this. They're meant to cut plants. But let me show you. This has blades on both sides, and it's pruners. So be careful if you have a pair of these. Alright, so that's what we do. We take a length of string that'll reach to the bottom of the cattle panel, and then where your first limb is, I tie a loose knot. Give me just a second and I'll show you the loose knot. Whoops. All right, I know you can't see it, but I have a loose knot, okay? So in there somewhere is a loose knot. As you can see, my fingers can get up in there, okay? Then I wrap it. Of course, this one has been on the ground for far too long, so we will not stress it a bunch to get it up. But we are going to get it up to the cattle panel. Okay? And that is how I do this. Okay? That simple. It is now reaching up. I will go ahead and cut this branch because it's going to touch the ground. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay? There we go. That is all the pruning that I will do throughout this entire year, guys. I'm not that person that prunes every little sucker and side branch. I don't care about how big that tomato is. I just want tomatoes, okay? So, that's what we're going for. Y'all stay tuned. All right, so let me give you a black plastic tip. 1, think about where you want your holes and the spacing, because black plastic lasts for years, okay? Now, I labeled, I don't know if you can see that mark down there on the end, right about there. There's a 2 down there in Roman numerals. I marked my strips of black plastic because I thought about the order I wanted to lay them out in the next year. What I should have done is marked the rows for what I planted there, because crop rotation does need to happen. So whatever I have already drilled, as you can see, has weeds coming up in it, even if there's nothing planted there. So think about that when you put these holes in place. Label your rows for the spacing and think about crop rotation when you do it. Now, next tip I'm going to give you. You got to work this soil still, okay? I'm using this today. The other day I used a little flat spade type thing, handheld steel. So when you make the size of your holes, don't just think about the size of your seed, think about the size of your tool, because you got to get in there. You got to be able to plant your seeds, you got to be able to plant your plants if you're using transplants, and you got to be able to get in there and loosen up the dirt occasionally. So why am I telling you this? Because I didn't think about it when we burned the holes in the plastic. So I got to be a little more careful here to work the soil, to loosen it up, to be able to get the weed out. Because yeah, they come out, but I want the root and all. So I got to loosen that soil up to where the root will come out. Now, how do I do this? Guys, I do not stay bent over my garden all day long. I sit down and scoot along. It's much easier than staying bent over, just saying. I sit down. I work from one end of the row to the other, and then I move. If you've got one of those handy little scooters that have wheels on them, those work even better. You still bent over, though. I worry about how I'm going to get up when I'm finished, for those of you that have that question. But yeah, the two things for today. Think about the size of your tool, and remember crop rotation. So, because you do not want to plant peppers in the same space every year, after year, after year. Same for beans. They don't need to be in the same space year after year after year, because that's how you promote diseases and specific plant pests, like the Mexican bean beetle. If I plant in that row every single year, I'm going to have bean beetles every single year, which makes organic methods hard to work on. So, just a little tip. And as y'all can see, I got a lot of weeds to deal with because I waited too long. So, let me get at it. Another pretty awesome tool to use is an auger. What this does, guys, it softens your soil. It digs your hole for you, basically. Ta-da! You do have to have a little control on your trigger finger to not just sling dirt out like that. You gotta do it a little slower. But guess what? The dirt's not gone. It's just right there. You can rake it back in. So, garden auger goes on a standard drill. I am replanting beans today, so I just need a little loose dirt. And then we will be laying out drip irrigation because we ain't had rain in a while here. And as you can see, there's still a little moisture in here. There's not much moisture anywhere else, but in here there's some moisture still. But we are going to have to end up putting out the drip irrigation, so stay tuned. Whew, so alright, enough with the heat. There's a lot of things we can do to garden. You do not have to have a perfect garden. Imperfect gardens grow fruits and vegetables too. The point of a plant is to produce offspring. Offspring are in the fruit. They're in the seeds. And guess what? As long as your plant is producing fruits and vegetables, the plant is doing its job. Can you get a better harvest? I'm sure you can. But let's get a harvest to start with. There's a lot of things we can do to improve once we learn that we can actually grow a plant. And we need to stop striving for perfection and thinking we failed if it's not perfect. We haven't failed if we've gotten produce. So just keep that in mind. You need light, water, soil, and nutrients. You don't have to have big fancy raised beds. You don't have to have the best soil on the market. However you can get your plant to grow is what you need. A garden can have weeds. Sometimes weeds are good things. They pull nutrients, unfortunately, but they help hide the plant from the pests. So yeah, there's good and bad. Not every garden is ever going to be perfect, but we're going to see what we can do this year. It is going to be far from perfect, as y'all have seen already. I mean, it is June, and we are just really kind of getting started. 98 degrees today, by the way. 98 degrees. With our house not having any air conditioning. So keep that in mind. It's going to be a fun summer. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all see what we can get up into next, and we will catch you on the next video. Bye, guys.